Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my Ottawa Senators franchise mode series right here on NHL 18. And today I can say with the utmost certainty, the people have spoken. At least the majority of the people, as overwhelmingly you guys have made it clear what we should be doing with one Matt Barzal. Now, if for some reason you missed what happened in the last episode, which I don't know, maybe you did. We started simming through the season. We're doing very well at 16-7. However, a certain Matt Barzal was still on the free agent list as an RFA. We signed him so that he wouldn't go to waste and rot at home for a season, and I left it up to you guys. Do we trade him back to the Islanders, or do we keep him? And the decision was to keep him. So this is your new top line. Henrik Borgstrom, who was already our leading scorer and killing it, centered by Barzal and Mark Stone. My God, the two-headed monster of Borgstrom and Barzal. And if I have to switch one of them to a sniper, it will be Barzal. The second line will be Tyson Jost, who has 20 points this year, with Matt Duchene and Nikita Gusev, who stepped up on that top line for a moment while Kevin Fiala struggled. And of course, Gusev's offensive stats are through the roof. Surprise, surprise, he's doing well. That third line is insane as well. Kevin Fiala, Logan Brown, and Colin White. The new fourth line, Gabriel Gagne, who's been moved over to the left-hand side, Zach Smith, and Ty Ronning. So Nick Paul is out of the lineup. Ty Ronning is demoted down to the fourth line. This team would be great if we're going for it. The problem is, for someone like Ty Ronning, we're not going to get the most out of him on the fourth line. Potential-wise, he's about at his cap anyway. We're not getting the most out of Colin White with him being on the second line, but you could argue, and it's kind of undisputable, that Gusev is the better offensive threat, despite Gusev being a third-line scoring forward. So there is that debate of, do we go with this little setup right here? Gusev, of course, has power play time, but maybe that way we get a little bit more out of Colin White. The big thing we have to worry about, the defense is the same, by the way. Also, the power play, I've gone insane. We have one defenseman on the power play. The rest is everybody else from the top 9 except for Logan Brown. So sorry, Logan, but Erik Karlsson took your spot. But hey, I put Matt Duchene on the defensive spot just in case things go poorly. How many shorthanded goals do you think we're going to give up? I should check, and I will right now, to see how many shorthanded goals we've given up this season. How much will that number increase by for as long as the power play remains the way it is? Which probably won't be for long. This game is going to hand us a 17,000-year injury within the first 5 minutes. We've given up one shorthanded goal this season. We'll see if that increases. Here is the issue. The team right now is tremendous. Is an 84 overall just Yorkin enough to lead us to a cup? Maybe, maybe not. But as you would have seen, the big number right there to pay attention to, 21 contracts are coming due at the end of the year. That is a problem. We have $7 million in cap space right now, and I didn't mean to do that because, of course, we can't yet see whether or not he wants to resign. Whoops. Let me go to all expiring. With Montour, for example, we have $42.8 million to work with. Are we going to be able to re-sign everybody? With Montour, of course, the 85% trick would work. And to be honest, 4 years is perfect. That's the lowest amount we could possibly sign him for. Montour, Fiala, Jost, White. All of these guys are going to be looking for quite the paycheck. Not to mention Barzal and Borgstrom. Now, Borgstrom is going to be signed for cheaper, of course, but cap-wise, we might be in a little bit of trouble. Maybe. So right now, it's kind of a mix of who are we going to be able to afford to keep? Can we afford to keep everybody, especially because we're retaining salary on 2 terrible contracts? Are we going to be able to keep everybody? It doesn't make sense to keep everybody when someone like Colin White is then relegated to the third line. For now, I'm not really going to worry about that. What I am going to do is sim up into about the trade deadline, so we got a good 2.5 months to sim here. And we'll take a look at what our situation is then and there. We'll also take a look at potentially re-signing people. We'll see how it goes. For now, let the sim begin. We'll handle it 2 weeks at a time. So we have 6 games here. Anaheim, 2 against Toronto, 1 against Dallas, Colorado, and the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is going to be a massive game with huge playoff implications down the road. Oh boy, English. It's easy. I am not. No, just no. Absolutely not. No, I forgot to turn off trades for this. Do I like taking the AI offers? No, not really. Unless it's by design. Right now, there's no trades I want to make. My team is fine. So let's just go ahead and do this. We have won both games to start. Can we take the second game against Toronto? Yes, we can. So 3 straight 3-2 victories. Go figure. We do lose 2-1 to the Dallas Stars. Playing Colorado, it's a 4-3 shootout win, and this huge game against Tampa is a 4-3 shootout win as well. Not ideal for them to get a pity point, but I will take it. What a start. 5-1 to begin the month of December. Now 21-8-1 as the Lightning have struggled to begin this month. So we are by far in first place, and by far I mean 3 points, but hey, that's pretty good. Borgstrom still at a point a game pace. You have no idea how happy I am to see a first line scoring threat putting up points like they should. Doesn't happen often in one of my series, but it's happening today. Let's sim to January 1st, shall we? Let's end 2020 on a good note. That 4-0 shutout loss to Florida isn't ideal. We bounce back with an 8-3 win over Detroit. 5-4 loss to Pittsburgh. 6-0 win against Carolina. All right, so loss, blowout. Except we kind of reversed that as we beat Florida, but lose to Philadelphia. As of January 1st, we are 24-11-1. Pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. So a month in, as we are now 3 points back of Tampa, so the Lightning have recovered a little bit. It's the overtime losses that help them out, without a doubt. The first thing I want to look at, shorthanded goals against, just to see what happens, just to see what's happening with the power play. Still only 1. Beautiful. So only having 1 defenseman on the power play isn't really screwing us over by all that much. The next thing to check is the team. I want to check out the point totals. I might check out the AHL first. I didn't get you a look at the AHL lines. I've reworked it a little bit. Kotkaniemi is up with Gersich and Kravtsov, who are just having the time of their life right now. And Casey Cizikas was the guy who had to get dropped down to the AHL. Of course, we picked him up for the year as a cap dump for the Islanders to make sure that we could get Ty Smith, if I'm remembering correctly. So let's take a look at this team. Borgstrom, our leading scorer, 40 points in 36 games. Barzal has 11 points so far this year in 12 games, so nearly a point a game player. Not too shabby. Would he do better if he was listed as a sniper? Maybe. Mark Stone with 28 points. A little bit behind the pace, Mark. Just a little bit behind the pace. I do wonder if I put you back to a power forward and Barzal at a sniper, how would that work out? Because Borgstrom as a playmaker isn't really that ideal. I mean, he could be listed. I mean, playmaker works, sniper could work, two-way forward could work for Borgstrom with that 96 defensive awareness. My God. So we have numerous options there. And in terms of what best suits a player, I'm not entirely sure. Some people don't believe in player types changing and to make a big difference, but you know. Tyson Jost started today with a 10-10 output there, up to 16 goals and 15 assists, 31 points now this season. Duchesne, 3 goals and 21 assists, 24 points in this amount of games. Not bad for a second-line guy. And Gusev is killing it, 21 goals and 12 assists in 36 games. On the third line, Fiala up to 19 points, pretty damn good. Only 8 points for Logan Brown, but 24 points for Colin White. 10 for Gagne, the 13-point tally for Smith, and Ty Ronning at 22 points. It's not too bad. The offense has been very well spread out. I won't change any player types yet, particularly on the top line. We'll wait to see what happens moving forward. Shabbat on 8 points, Carlson at 29. In terms of points, I'm not expecting anything from our defense, and that is exactly what I'll get, but I am shocked at how well Timmins and Foote are playing as that third pairing. Shesterkin's doing very well. Skinner, only 5 appearances so far, but, you know, the .916 save percentage, he's been okay. it changes on a game-to-game basis. There's not a big enough number of games played yet for that to really change consistently. Let's go ahead and sim midway through the month. Not very busy at all. 3-2 shootout win over Washington. A loss to Columbus. A loss to Boston. Big game against Tampa, and it's a 3-1 win. We followed up with a loss to Buffalo. So 2-3 to start this month. And Cizikas goes down with post-concussion syndrome. He will be out for 2 months. That is unfortunate. We'll just go with assistant coach, replace player. It doesn't really matter, but sorry, Casey. That could be bad for you. Let's go ahead and sim to the beginning of February. A rematch against Columbus. It's a loss in overtime. We are starting to slide a little bit. We're starting to slide a lot of it. Let's stop now and double check the lines. Why are we slipping up? We are now 7 points back of Tampa. Borgstrom's still nearly a point a game player. Let's take a look here. So Barzal struggling. 13 points now in 20 games. Stone at 31 points in 44. Barzal's not going. We need to change something up here. Stone as a two-way is okay. Could change him back to a power forward. Borgstrom, no reason to change him, which means we're going to change Barzal to a sniper. My only thought was Stone as a power forward. You could argue, oh, him as another playmaker, but no. I mean, I'd prefer to get a sniper on that line. Stone as a power forward or a two-way, which is what he currently is. Oh, boy. You know, I'm going to keep him as a two-way, but he could go back to a power forward. The main thing is changing Barzal to a sniper. Jost still doing well. 33 points in 44 games. He's been great. Matt Duchene, 27 points. Gusev's still doing well. Fiala's all right. Logan Brown, and then Colin White. Okay. Let's change Matt Barzal over to a sniper. I'm not surprised that his numbers are down, but I am a little bit disappointed, admittedly, with how well the offense is doing in general. A lot of players are putting up points. I can't really be all that surprised. There you go, by the way. Good old Barzal. We'll change him over to a sniper. With how well this team is doing, I can't really say that I'm all that surprised, right? So, if someone like him happens to have lower numbers, it's really to be expected. Let's continue on. No reason to be overly concerned yet. We typically, at some point in the season, go on a very bad run. If we're getting it out of the way early in January, that would be pretty nice. We lose 2-1 to the Islanders. As Matt Duchene goes down with a pulled groin. It's only for a couple of days. Oh, let's do assistant coach, replace player, just to keep it simple. We lose to Philly. We beat Carolina. Actually, it was for more than a few days. He's out until February. For some reason, I thought we were in February already. So Duchene's out for a bit. And that was an absolutely abysmal month for us. 3 wins in January. 3. So let's see, we went 3-3-1, 3-4-1, 3-5-1, 3-6-1, 3-7-1, 3-7-2. 3-7-2 in January. We currently find ourselves in a wild card spot. Granted, it's because the Atlantic Division is quite competitive, but that makes it all the more concerning, is that we've slipped up that much. So Nick Paul, obviously, we're gonna have to make some adjustments here. So let's go best lines. The power play is going to be reset. So we'll have Paul on the left, Gagne on the right. Third line will be Fiala, Brown, Ronning. And we'll just have White at center. He's good enough to do it. So Jost, White, and Gusev. Borgstrom, Barzal, Stone. Defensively, it stays the same. So the power play might take a dip by having defensemen. Unless I'm going to change it up. I mean, I'm going to have to change it back, though, when Duchene's here. We'll leave it as is for now. The penalty kill as well, which kind of sucks. Now I have to go forward with this. I have to. And I had a Word document up with the best options available. All right, so we have Borgstrom, Barzal, Stone, Gusev, Fiala. We need Jost and White. So let's take out Brown. And we'll put Colin White in the lineup. Let's take out Montour. And we'll bring in Jost. So let's just double check here. This has to be done. It has to be done. Could I cut this out? Yeah, I could. And you know what? I will. All right, we're good. The lines are set. The power play is set. Let's continue onward. It actually wasn't as difficult as I made it out to be. I just need to take a second and not panic and think, hey, how can I make this entertaining? That's not what I was thinking at all. I'm lying to you. I just flat out lied to your face, and I'm sorry. Let's sim 2 weeks into February. We really need to start turning this around. And a 4-0 shutout win over Arizona is a good start. 2-1 win over the Islanders. We play Tampa again, and Stuart Skinner goes down to injury. Not ideal, but we are prepared for it. We will be calling up Tomek to be the backup. I didn't even see how long Skinner was out for, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and change over Tomek to the backup. So with Stuart Skinner in goal, and then Shesterkin obviously came in relief once he went down with the injury, did we get the win over Tampa? A very, very big game for us, as Ian Scott will be the starter down in Belleville. 6-3 loss. That's unfortunate. Shootout loss to Florida. Pity point helps at least. Pittsburgh. Skinner's back. All right, well, let's put him back in, I guess. I don't want to leave Tomek as a healthy scratch of a goaltender either. He's too valuable to us right now. We still need him to develop. So let me go back over to roster moves. It's tedious, but it must be done. So Tomek gets sent down. Someone's going to tell me there's a super weird pronunciation of his name at some point. Can't wait to find that out. Take out Niilo Hallinen for Tomek, and we are good to go. Let the sim continue. It's a 3-1 win over Pittsburgh, and against New Jersey, Kravtsov is back. I didn't know he was hurt. He's not even out of the lineup, is he? No, so what the hell? I hate how it does that. 3-2 shootout win over the Devils. We are now 15 days away from the deadline at 31-19-4. Right. In terms of re-signing players, what can we look to do? We're back into second place, 5 points back of the Lightning, who do have a game at hand. Let's take a look at the points, shall we? Borgstrom, 18 goals, 31 assists, 49 points in 54 games. Matt Barzal has been okay. I mean, 19 points in 30 games is okay. But damn, for a 92 overall with 97 offensive awareness, he has just not gotten going. And you look at his attributes, playmaker, sniper, even a two-way. Hell, with his strength, you can make him a goddamn power forward. There is no excuse for him to not be delivering here. The only thought is maybe switch he and Borgstrom's roles right now. Stone's done all right. 33 points in 54 games. I can't say I'm all that surprised by his numbers. Desperate times call for desperate measures. We're putting Gusev on that top line. We'll have Jost, White. I mean, we know Gusev's going to be doing well. Yeah. So we'll have Stone, White, and Jost, which sounds... That's an amazing second line. Then Fiala, Brown, Ronning, of course, right now due to the injury to Duchesne. I want to keep Logan Brown and Colin White on this team, right? Especially as Sen's OG prospects. However, boy, has Logan Brown been disappointing. We had him as a power forward before. The aggressiveness is a little bit too low. The strength would be fine for a power forward. He's a great skater for a guy his size. But the shot's not there. You could argue playmaker due to the deking ability and the speed. I don't know. Maybe we go the Kevin Hayes route. We kind of shy away from the physical play with Logan Brown. Of course, there's also the factor of, is there enough puck to go around with everybody? That is also a factor. I don't want to change anything with Borgstrom because he's done so well. Barzal's been okay, so I won't change anything there. I don't think I'll change anything at all, although I am intrigued by Logan Brown and potentially changing him over to a playmaker just to see what happens. You know what? I'm going to do it. I could change Fiala over to a two-way, but he's proven to be honestly, he's proven to be a good playmaker as opposed to a sniper. That's the one thing that's nice. It's a catch-22. It's kind of. It's not even the right use of that phrase. It's nice to have players that are versatile, where you could say, okay, he could be a two-way, a power forward, a playmaker, a sniper, that there are a whole lot of options. It's nice to have those options, but also, at times, it's a little bit frustrating. It's kind of just nice when you have a Nikita Gusev, and it's like, all right, he's a sniper or a playmaker. The end. But for now, let's go Kevin Hayes style here with Logan Brown. And we'll see if he can pick up his offensive game by just a little bit. Of course, as we've mentioned, everyone's picking up points for the most part, but the majority of our defensemen are not. So that's where I'm expecting guys like Logan Brown to be able to put up more points. I mean, defensively, 10 points for Shabbat. Aside from Carlson, we're not getting points on defense. So yeah, while Borgstrom's getting a ton, Gusev's getting a ton, someone like Logan Brown, he needs to have more than 14 points. He just does. So we'll see if that change works out for him. We have a little bit of time to sim, but not much if we're wanting to take an early look at the contract situation, which is a situation. There's no doubt. It is a situation that we're currently facing. Let's take a look. Do we have an answer? So Barzal and Borgstrom are both willing to re-sign. Let me take a look here. All expiring. So Barzal is looking for $8 million. I could drop it down to 8.4. We should be able to re-sign everybody. So the only question is whether or not it's worth it to keep everybody. I mean, I'd say it is, and then just trade away whoever we have to. But as I said earlier, the season, potentially not getting the most out of Colin White in terms of his development. We'll actually take a look at the progress report as well, just to see if that's the case. We need to have all the facts here before we make a decision. I don't want to sim too closely to the trade deadline if there's a chance of, hey, re-sign this guy and then trade him. So let's see. Barzal's currently a 90, but playing like a 92. He's getting better, though. Let me look, actually. So centers, Duchesne's there. No improvement whatsoever from Logan Brown. Logan Brown is pretty much locked in as an 84 overall, which I'm not complaining. It's weird, though, that he's still listed as a third-line guy because an 84 overall is a second-line guy, according to EA. So that's very strange. And then, of course, we have Zach Smith. It has no trade value, so we might as well keep him for this season and probably move on, unless we choose to re-sign him. No improvements from Borgstrom, Fiala, or Jost. That is concerning. Nothing from Paul and Gagne. Nothing from Stone. Nothing from Colin White. Gusev, though, statistical growth is up. And Carlson's statistical growth is up for him as well. So we have... Oh, man, we have some decisions to make here. I'm not quite sure what to do. In terms of re-signing players, though, like I said, I think we could get basically everybody back, even with the salary retention, which is shocking unless the retention ends. Am I allowed to check that, by the way? I don't think I am. It's kind of weird that I'm not allowed to check to see how long that salary is being retained for at this point, because I have no idea. How long is that salary being retained for? It just says the retained count and how much. It's not saying for how long. It's kind of weird. That's kind of an important thing to know when that money comes off the books. But let's go ahead and see what we got here. So in terms of goaltenders, it would just be Kadri that would have to be signed. And actually here, let's look at defense first. So Brooks Orpik, who we'd be letting go of. Christian Wolanin, who... How much is he looking for? He's back to looking for $1 million. So it's like I could bring back Wolanin as a healthy scratch. I don't know. I like Christian Wolanin as a player. I do. It's more about the name than the actual attributes. I just like Christian Wolanin as a prospect. I think the Sens have a good player there. You ever have those players that you're rooting for them and you don't know why, especially when they're on a rival team to the team you support? Christian Wolanin's my guy. I don't know why, but he is. Everyone's willing to re-sign. So Montour, for example, the lowest we could knock that down to, if we go 5-1, oh boy, keyboard cooperate here, would you? If we go 5-1 on old Montour, 4.3, which is not too terrible. That money, though, is going to drop quickly. Although Foot's not asking for much. Timmins is asking for a little bit more than I'd care for, but... Alright, so let's say for Montour, right? I just need to add up the big contracts, right? That's all I need to do. So we'll say $42.8 million, and we'll minus the 4.3. Or not. I'll actually... Oh, my God. All right. Well, I think we can afford it. Point being, Colin White, knocking it. I mean, he's going to ask for a lot, but again, we'll say another $4 million. Let's call it $9 million square. Borgstrom can knock it down to 6. We have all the money in the world to be able to re-sign everybody. It might get a little bit rocky, but I think we can do it. So let's focus on the UFAs first. And again, Montour, we will absolutely look to re-sign you, so we at least don't lose you for nothing. We can knock that down to 4.35 if he's willing to accept. I want to get all of this sorted as well before the trade deadline, just in case we got to move somebody. So Landon, of course, will be able to drop that down to 850. My brain's not working. Orpik will not be brought back. He was just a depth signing for this year. Albrecht will be signed at one point, or some point. Kravtsov needs to be signed. And it's looking like he's going to want to make the jump to the NHL level next year, or at least a third-line spot. That probably will not happen, but I guess you never know. Be able to drop that down to 850. That'd be a pretty good deal. Jordan Wheel was a depth signing. And actually, you know what? Let's go over to Nathan Bastian. Yeah, that's what I thought. He's still looking for a depth option. I'm going to sign him to 1 year. I feel like that makes him a little bit more tradable. Ty Ronning, I'll worry about in a minute. Borgstrom, what's the max I can sign you to? Actually, you know what? If I drop it down to 1 year just to play it safe. But then again, you're going to get even better. That's the problem. So it takes a big jump in 5 years, an extra $500K there. So 3 years for Borgstrom. And we'd be able to knock that down to 6,625. That is a steal and a half for Mr. Borgstrom. If that goes through, we're not going to worry about any of those guys. We'll have to sign not Doug Waite's kid. I'm going to have to keep him for the entirety of this series. Zach Smith, willing to sign for cheap, not wanting to re-sign. There's a chance I bring him back. Cizikas can go. I'm going to keep Gersic probably. Let me see what I can knock that down to. Even if he's just AHL depth, in terms of a scoring option that we could call up. At 925, he's worth it. Seth Griffith was a depth option, and Noah Gregor. I'll sign for 1 year at a max deal. Let me get answers from those players first, and then we'll worry about some of the other larger contracts, including Barzal. So, let's see. Of course, the big name there at first was Borgstrom. We have 15 days until the deadline. Let's try to sim a week, although we won't make it. It is a pretty busy week here. We have Edmonton coming up. Wolanin's going to be back for next year as a depth defenseman. Bastian, Gersic, and Kravtsov, Gregor as well, have all accepted. As will we beat the Oilers? Might have answers about contracts. 3-0 win over Edmonton. Montour has signed. Borgstrom has signed. Mike Riley, of all players, happens to be on waivers. I don't really have the need to sign you. I have my defensive depth. So there we go. We'll sim through this game against Buffalo. Back-to-back wins. 3-0 shutout win over Edmonton. And the 3-2 shootout victory over Buffalo on the road. Borgstrom now at 51 points. We are 5 points back of Tampa still. They are on an incredible pace. Will we catch them? Probably not, but we're still in a pretty good spot overall. Let's look at all expiring again. So Kadri we don't have to worry about. Albrecht we don't have to worry about. So we have Foote, Timmins. Basically, we're taking care of everybody. So let's look for the big names. That's top priority now, including Mr. Barzal. We have $33 million to work with. 2 years. See, it takes a massive jump there at the third year. So a 2-year deal and cutting this down would be great. 7.525 for 2 years for Barzal is one hell of a deal, and that's a very tradable contract if he accepts. Let's look at Kevin Fiala. When does it take a bigger jump? It doesn't really ever take a bigger jump, which kind of concerns me. Let's go a 2-year bridge deal for him. And we'll drop that down to 4.2, which is pretty good for him. It's a pretty tradable deal as well. Tyson Jost doesn't really ever take a big time jump. Let's go 2 years. We'll get that extra deal, or that extra year on the deal. And we'll be able to drop that down to 3.75, which is an incredible contract for him. Oh my God. Colin White, Also, Fiala didn't want to re-sign. I just noticed. Sorry. So Fiala will reject that, which does cause a little bit of an issue. For Colin White, it's the same thing where it doesn't really ever take a massive jump. We'll go 2 years at 4,975 just to knock down the price. 4,255 for him. That would be all right. I wish I could just redo the offer to Fiala right now, but you can't. It takes a pretty big jump there. So we'll go 1 year for Cal Foote. And we'll be able to knock that down to 1,525. So not an incredible discount there, but it's something. It is something. Ty Ronning, I'll look to bring you back, although I'm a little bit nervous about it. I'm going to go 1 year deal. I want to get that number down as low as possible for Ronning because there's a very good chance he doesn't stay. The meme might, in fact, be over. But, hey, he was at least worth it. Smith, I'm going to look to bring back Smith as well. He's not willing to sign, though. Maybe. We'll see what happens with Zach Smith. And we might as well sign Timmins. 2 years is the cheapest price, so we might as well sign him for that amount, 2.3. So again, not an incredible discount, but it's something. Nick Paul, don't be looking for much, buddy, because you're not going to get it. I'm going to go 1 year because I don't think you're going to be hanging around beyond this year. I at least want to be able to trade you. And if that's not the case and he hangs around, hey, he's a decent fourth line option. Cizikas can go. Riley Stillman, oh my God, we have so many guys to re-sign. 2 years at a max deal on a two-way is okay. Griffith, Wheel, Orpik can go. Orpik? Who the hell's Orpik? I don't know. We'll see what happens there. And whether or not, again, we have to move anybody. It's kind of necessary to get all these done now just so we know the full situation at hand. So let's keep simming. We have a game coming up against Chicago. Colin White is back. He answered extremely quickly. Fiala rejected as expected. Barzal, Paul, Jost, Stillman, Timmins, Foote, Ronning have all accepted. That is tremendous. A 5-3 loss to Chicago is not tremendous, but we bounce back with another destruction of the Detroit Red Wings, which is pretty damn nice. 7 points back of Tampa, but 4 points clear of Florida. They do have a game at hand, though. So this is one hell of a race we find ourselves in. In terms of selling, I don't really see that happening. I think we're going to keep everybody, including Fiala, for this year, even if someone's underperforming. So let's take a look again. Goalies were good. How much money do we have left? 17 mil. Oh my God. So even while retaining salaries, some of that must be coming off the books because we've done incredibly well. We will offer Fiala 4.8 for 1 year. So there's a very good chance he gets traded sometime soon. Zach Smith, if you're willing to accept 1.9, I'll come back, or you can come back. Otherwise, I'm going to go to $2 million at the most for a fourth line specialist. If he's not willing to accept that, I'll probably have to get rid of him, but I would like to keep him. Like I said, for me, franchise modes, it's not about like, all right, let me get rid of the worst players on the team and super team right out of the gates. Although, clearly, that still kind of happens as we ended up with Barzal and Borgstrom because the AI is incompetent. Let's take a look here. We have another game against Chicago. Fiala's back. Smith is back, or not back, excuse me, he rejected. We get our revenge against Chicago. I was going to say back-to-back wins, and I just assumed that Smith was back. I was hoping for back-to-back wins. Happy birthday to me, 3 years into the future. My God, I'm old. Let's take a look here. In terms of expiring, so Smith, the max deal I'm willing to give you, because you're going to be sitting on our fourth line, is $2 million. I can sign you to a whole lot more, but I really don't want to. I'll probably just re-sign him to whatever. The problem is, the more money we give him, the more difficult it'll be to trade him if that's necessary. That's my concern. But we'll see what happens here. As we are approaching the deadline, will Zach Smith re-sign with the Ottawa Senators for $2 million over next season? Zachy boy, please come back. Baby, come back. Yeah, Zach Smith, there we go. Back for next season. We do lose to Montreal 4-1. However, we're good to go. We have everybody re-signed for next year that we would care about, which is insane, given some of the players that are on this team. So let's take a look here. So this year, all we have to do is just focus solely on winning. That's it. We just focus on winning, and whether or not we can get the job done. So let's sim up to the deadline. We might take a look around at who's perhaps underperforming. Matt Duchene will be back any day now. It could be right now. He was supposed to be back already. So it's a little bit concerning, but he wasn't at 100%. It's supposed to alert me when he's at 100%. Which, is that going to happen right now? Maddie D? The Duchenes? No. Wow, what the hell? Is he 100%? It just hasn't alerted me? What the hell, man? He's supposed to be back by now. Injury report. He must still be banged up. Nope. Okay, cool. It just didn't tell me. Maybe it got mixed in there with some of the contract re-signings. I don't know. But I had a feeling that was kind of weird. Matt Duchene's back, which is fine. Hopefully he's not pissed about missing any time. I mean, yeah, it's fine. I was going to say the... Oh, what am I thinking of? The morale system is not on. So Nick Paul... Actually, who's doing better? Paul has 9 points. Gagne has a lot more. Nick Paul, I'm sorry, buddy. You get to take a seat for Ty Ronning. As Ty Ronning is too good to play on the fourth line, man. All right, let me set this up as it was prior to the Duchene injury, which I'm going to say Gusev was on the second. I mean, we switched him in White. We'll have White on the third line, right? So Henrik Borgstrom, 19 goals, 39 assists, a plus 14. That's 58 points in 62 games. Matt Barzal has only scored 1 goal since we last checked. He's up to 27 points in 38 games. A little bit below the pace for where you would expect someone of his caliber to be. Should we trade him? Probably not. I'll take a look at trade values, but he's still an asset to this team. He's just underperforming. So you could argue in terms of, again, player types for Borgstrom: sniper, playmaker, two-way. He's obviously doing well as a playmaker, though, as our leading scorer. Barzal, same thing. Playmaker, sniper, two-way. Playmaker and sniper have been kind of meh. Do we try him at two-way? We look at Mark Stone. Again, playmaker, sniper, two-way, power forward would all work. 13 goals, 27 assists, good for 40 points. He's on pace to hit the same. Actually, he's a little bit under the pace to hit 46, but that's understandable given some of the other talent that we have. Actually, we dropped Stone down to the second line before. So Gusev, 33 goals, 20 assists, 53 points compared to the 35 he had last year. Oh my God. I'd say he's good as a sniper. I'd say he's doing okay. Tyson Jost, sniper, playmaker, two-way, would all kind of work out. Two-way would probably be perfect. But 23 goals, 20 assists, Tyson Jost. What an acquisition he's proving to be. On pace to set a new career high and has already tied a previous career high in goals. That brings up Matt Duchene, who has missed a lot of time this year. He does have 28 points, though, in 46 games. So he was well on his way to a bit of a return to form. The one thing with Duchene, that contract. When's the right time to get rid of Matt Duchene? When's the right time to get rid of the Sens original? For now, he has a spot on this team. But, that day could be coming. That day could be coming. And in terms of player types, playmaker, sniper, those are pretty much the way to go. Two-way, he's a little bit too weak defensively. So I'd say he's probably good where he is. And then we've already seen Mark Stone. That brings up Kevin Fiala. In terms of player types, playmaker, sniper, two-way would all be fine. He is disappointed this season. 6 goals, 21 assists. I mean, he disappointed from the moment the season started. That's why we even took a second look at Barzal. In terms of the contract, we'll see what happens, but maybe Kevin Fiala is the odd man out with Tyson Jost doing as well as he is. Logan Brown, we talked about it, playmaker, two-way, power forward. We changed him to a playmaker. The points just aren't there, though. 16 points now. He's played every single game this season. And Colin White, playmaker, sniper, two-way, power forward, but as a two-way, 17 goals and 18 assists. Good for 35 points, matching his point total from last season. He is going to set a new career high this year. We go to the fourth line. We already saw his point totals. Gabriel Gagne, 18 points. He needs 2 more points for me to be ecstatic about his point total. As I've mentioned before, top line, as close to point a game as you can possibly be. Second line, 50, 60 is great, 50 to 60. Third line, 30 to 40, good. Fourth line, as close to 20 as possible. Gagne, I am extremely happy with what he's done this season. Zach Smith has already blown away my expectations, and again, Tyroning is way too good for the fourth line. He is closing in and has already set a new career high. Playing on the third line has certainly helped him. Defensively, 10 points for Shabbat, a +5. I'm good with that. Erik Karlsson is still proving to be Erik Karlsson with 48 points so far this year. Of course, there's only so much of the puck that can go around. You would expect him to be leading the way for defensemen, and he is. 6 points for Noah Dobson. A little bit disappointed in his point total, but what are you going to do with this much talent? Same for Montour, 6 assists, but hey, you're being paid essentially to be a defensive D-man. I could change all of you, aside from Karlsson, to defensive D-man. Timmins and Foote still doing okay, plus-minus wise. The goaltender in Shesterkin with a .929 save percentage, 32 wins and 58 appearances, 6 shutouts, and a .219 GAA. Stuart Skinner, 10 appearances, 6 wins, and a .920 save percentage for him. So there are only a few players that I'm somewhat disappointed in, but overall, very happy with where the team is. You have certain guys, oh my god, Kravtsov's a monster. Like, just an absolute monster. It's ridiculous. Let's take a quick look at some of the trade values before we call it a day. We will sim the rest of the season and potentially make any changes if you guys have any suggestions or thoughts. But we'll sim through the rest of the regular season in the next episode, and we'll also sim through the first round matchup. So looking here, Barzal, Karlsson. Here, let's look at forwards first. So Barzal, Stone, Borgstrom. Stone's value. We know that a Borgstrom, Barzal, Gusev top line, that could be extremely dangerous. I'm not saying trade Mark Stone, right? Because as it is, we trade for value, and then, well, I guess Gusev could play on the second line. It's something to ponder. Then from there, of course, some values tend to drop off. I forgot that we got Peyton Krebs, too. I'm so excited about that pickup. I'm wanting to use him in a series. Defensively, Montour still has really good value. Shabbat, Reagan, who we drafted. This team's looking good. With Kadri as a prospect goaltender, he's looking great. It'd be very weird to have a Kadri leading the way in goal in Ottawa. But hey, crazier things have happened. So I think you guys pretty much have all the info that you need as far as the team, what's going on, what's happening. The last thing I want to do is take a look at the league-wide player stats. How does Henrik Borgstrom stack up? Let's find out. So in terms of the league leaders, he's up there. It's Taylor Hall on 65 points. Laine and Scheifele are there. Anders Lee, Gino, Besser, Ben McKinnon, Hischier. Then you have DeBrincat, Giroux, Kessel, Kucherov, and Borgstrom. So that is some fine company that Borgstrom finds himself with. Why DeBrincat couldn't do that in another series we might have ongoing right now, I don't know, but it's kind of frustrating. Same with Anders Lee. You and your damn chin. In Arizona, they better call you the Crimson Chin. For goal scoring, it's Lee and Gusev tied for the NHL lead. Kaprizov, Kovalchuk, who's down to an 83 in New York. So be careful if you make Kovalchuk, like I said to. He will decline very, very quickly, apparently, as the Rangers found out. Hall, Tolvanen, Laine, all over 30 points, which is pretty crazy. Plus-minus king is a Radulov. Worst in the league? Noah Juleson. Penalty minute king. I don't want to look through all of these. It's Jake Dotchin. I just had to make sure. So I think that pretty much covers it. I'm excited to see the feedback and suggestions moving forward. If we keep the team the same, how do you think we'll do in the playoffs? Should we make it? You can see the Atlantic Division. It's close. Very, very close. And this team has already shown a tendency to maybe want to collapse just a little bit. So with that said, thank you very much for watching. You know what you can do to support the video and the channel. Leave a like, subscribe, ring that damn bell, as they say on the Watch Mojos. That's the second time I've done that reference in a video tonight. But that is okay. I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.